If you remember back a couple of videos, we did a live on shellac. Well, this is before this, so we're a little out of order, but I said, you know, I've got to have something to shellac, and I've got a couple of Scotties coming up at the first of the year, so I thought I might as well make an overhead cabinet. Overhead cabinets are cool. I like them. They really haven't changed a whole lot. I like to kind of use the same style that they used kind of in the later 60s, and this is the style that came out of that 66 Gaucho that we're working on. So I wanted to take you in depth a little bit more, give you some measurements, show you how I do it, why I do it, and so we're going to start on that. Is what I did save. Remember, I tell you, don't throw it out. Don't throw it out till you know you're done with it. So this is going to be my template off of that 66 Gaucho, that Scotty Sportsman Gaucho. They had painted it this. It's green, but we're going to, you know, not do that. This is going to be, as I said, shellac. So the first thing I do is I take this, I find the good side of this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use the good side, because I think on the saw sometimes, if I get going too fast, the side that I cut on is the smooth side. We're going to test that theory because I don't remember. So I take these big long cuts right here. This is going to be your longest one cut, and then this is going to be a good one. So we've got this 90-degree angle. So in order to not have to cut that and make mistakes, I'm going to line this 90 right here. Then I'm going to take, and I'm just going to trace it out. Then I'll take it over to the saw and cut it out, but I think I'm going to trace both sides. Now, if I have this on here, that means that I'm going to have to flip that over so that I get both sides to match. Because if I just went over here and did the same thing, one of them is going to be this beautiful side, and the other one is going to be this side. So what I think I may do is just go slow and trace it out over here, which I've already done. So I've got this side traced, and that means that I'll be able to have this really nice side on the outside of both. Now, several times, I just did it on the same side, and I'm like, oh, why do I keep doing that? So I didn't want to do it while I'm showing you. So now I'm going to go over here and cut it out. All right, I've got these cut out. As you can see, they're not too far off. And they don't have to be super close, but I'm a little bit off here. So I'm just gonna take some aggressive grit on my sander. I'm gonna even them out a little bit, and I'll show you why here in a minute, because I've got some certain measurements I gotta share with you. Got those much closer, much closer, and here's why. This is the trim that goes on the front. I salvaged this from a camper that we weren't using it on, and it's going to sit on here, well, like this. It's going to sit on here, right on there. It's going to pop right in there, and it's going to come all the way around, and it's going to look beautiful. So that was one of the measurements that I wanted to take. Let me get my tape real quick. So when I measure this, it is from outside to outside, just about 37, just a little shy of 37. So I'm going to make mine 36 because this is 1/2 inch plywood. So I measure that just to make sure. Yeah, it's just a touch under an inch, so that's going to work out perfect. So I'll put this at 36, and that's going to go right across the front, and it's going to be beautiful. Now, if you've ever seen one of these cabinets, and you have if you've been watching my videos, you've seen a couple of them, there's going to be a few pieces I got to make. There's going to be a shelf right here, and then there's going to be a shelf on the bottom here. Kind of looks like that little spice rack thing. It's pretty cool. So I got to build one here, 36. I got to measure this up, 36. So this bottom one, I've got to remember that I'm going to have a face plate coming across here. So I've got to go right to the edge, and that's going to be just about 4 inches. So if I go 4 inches, but I got to go a little longer than 4 inches because you see that there's that. So I've got to bring it up 4 inches just to here, and then I've got to give it a little bit right there. So I'll measure that. I'll bet that's probably somewhere around 30 degrees. And I'll build that on there. And then on this one, I'm just going to bring it straight to here. Just right to there, so I don't have to really put an angle. There'll be a little bit of an angle, but I think it's good enough that I could just take that rough sandpaper and just scrub that little bit down right there, and that'll be fine. And then we're going to have to build a few more parts that will build the doors. So we'll frame it in, and I'll get to that here in a minute. I went ahead and cut a bunch of pieces out. I'm going to get out of the shot and let you see what I did. I'm going to show you some measurements, and I'm going to start tacking it together. I'm going to use 1 inch 18 gauge brad nails just to kind of hold it together, and then I'll put something more substantial in once I make sure we're where I need to be. So right here, we've got our 2 ends. Now these are the good sides, so I want them on the outside. So I got to make sure I do that, because once you start tacking this all together, you're going to be in trouble if you don't take good care. So yeah, we're good right there. So I think I'm going to start with my first shelf, and that's going to be the middle shelf. Let me get these other stuff out of the way real quick. So the bottom part here is where the light is going to sit. That's where your kitchen light that we always add sits. So you're going to really be able to see that pretty good. So both sides are good on this one. I think that's a little straighter, so we're going to put that one up. We're going to go this way. Let me get this out of the way. All right. So I think if we go right here, and we're just going to pop a little tack in it. Right where I showed you where that spot comes in. Just one right there, just to kind of hold it in place. Because remember, this thing's on an angle. I got to make sure that this is a 90 off of the camper. And we want it at 90 degrees. Because I do know some people who did not take care on that, and one time it didn't come out right. They had to do it again. I don't know who that guy was, but it does happen. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my carpenter square. I'm going to set that right in here till I get square, and I'm square right there. So I'm going to put another one down here. Uh-oh, get square now. Down towards the bottom. Nope. Okay. All right, let's make sure we're still square. We're real close. We'll come over here and do the same thing on this side. All right, that feels pretty square. Hey, first try. All right, so we've got that in there. I'm gonna hit it with one more up top, just to hold it. So we're in there real good. Now, I'm gonna turn this around, I think, maybe. so you can see it a little bit better. It's just tacked on, so I got to be kind of careful. All right. Then I cut the spice rack out, and it's going on the inside too. So I got to make sure that I get right up against, get in there. That is acting like it's not square, but I think, there we go. I think it's just my table I'm working on. So I'm going to catch it right there at the top. Come back over here. Catch it right here at the top. Keep my thumb out of the way. Really get it nice and easy down here. Give it one there. Same thing on this end. Okay, we're good right there. Now, there's going to be a piece right here in the middle that's going to help us hold our spice shelf. And I made one of those right here, just like that. And so I know this is 37, so I got to go 18 and a half to find the middle, and I was off just by about an inch right there. So I put that in there. Pull that back so you can see it real good. I set this up on center. Give that a good tacking too. Then when we get ready to put our little spice shelf on, we can go about like that. And I can see right now that I'm gonna have to make this a little bit bigger. But that's no big deal, I can do that. That stuff's pretty inexpensive, it's leftovers really, to be honest with you. All right, now, we have got to build our cabinet doors into the shelf. So what I did was I ripped down the 1x4s. These are the same things that go on the rafters. So I cut them down to 2.5, and I'm going to put one right here, real quick, maybe. Get one there. Whoa, that's a bad nail right there. Pull that out. We do not want that sitting out messing with our day. Okay, let me get it up here nice and even. That's much better. Keep my thumb out of the way. Now, that's going to be the lower part of your cabinet door. And here's the other piece. This is going to be the upper part of the cabinet door. It's got just a little bit of a angle to it. So you got to make sure where you're at, because we are going to router. We're going to router the drawers out of this. And we want it to be flush. We want this to be flush with that. And I'm pretty hopeful that it is. I'm just going to kind of suck this up right here. Make it nice and even. You can see that really, I made that real nice. Now I got to put a piece right here in the middle. And what I have is those leftover, the ends of the rafters. So I'm going to put a piece right here. And I'm going to just leave it at this almost 4 inches, because I'm going to need room for either hinges or something to clasp for it. So I'm going to put that here, and then I'm going to make a couple more over on this end. And then that's going to be my door openings. I'm going to go make those and I'll be back. All right, what I did is I went ahead and put the straight 1x4s right here. And then this is 2.5, so I took a piece of 2.5 just for continuity's sake. So I got 2.5 inches here, 2.5 inches here, 2.5 inches here, and then this is, it's supposed to be a 1x4, but it's like 3.5. So that's what I've got. So these are going to be my door when I router it out. So the doors will go there. Now, for my little shelf right here, I went ahead and recut that a little bit bigger. Look at this nice little detail. I'm going to leave that on there. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put it on here, and I switched over to my staple gun. I've got 18 gauge, 1/4 inch crown, and they're 1/2 inch deep. So I'm not going to hit a whole bunch of these, because I'm just going to have to, you know, take some wood putty and putty them up. So I'm going to get them on here. Try to get on here good and square, get a couple going, and then I'll review where I'm at. I'll make sure that we get, well, I still didn't get much right on that. Oh well, we'll take a look at that. So, back to the staple gun. We're good right here. We're good right here. Now, what I have to do is turn this over, because we've got to attach this to the camper. So I have got to go back to my nail gun. So let me got my nail gun back here. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to put some right here. Just right in here. And I'm going to put one down here as well. And then from the outside of the camper, because on the Scotty we're going through 1/2 inch plywood, I can just screw right into here. Screw right into here. Sometimes when you try to screw into this, you miss a little bit and it just, I don't like it. So I'm going to put these on right here. Just to give me something more that is sturdy that we could screw into from the outside. All right, we'll get about right here. And again, I cut these down to 2 inches. These are 2 inches and 36, because they're going inside, the same as this and the same as this. They've got to be 36. Now I'm going to put this right down here at the back of the shelf. May even give it one right. Well, I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that. Maybe I get over here. Try to give it one of those. Well, I hate to staple my finger, but I think I got an idea here. Push this back down here. Give it one of those. There we go. Sitting pretty. Sitting pretty. Okay, so there's what it's going to look like from the back, so that we can screw into there and screw into there, and that'll be plenty to hold that in. Put about 4 screws across this top, 4 screws right across there. That'll suck it right up to the trailer. Now, my final, well, next step I should say, is I've got to go get a piece of luan. The luan that we use on the roof. The ceiling, not the roof, the ceiling. And I'm gonna glue this down, put it across there, and I'll let it dry overnight and then router it out. And guess what? We got a brand new Scotty kitchen cabinet shelf. Let me go get that ready for you. I got some more luan. This is a beautiful side. I cut it about 2 inches big on either side. And I'm just going to glue it down, and then I'm going to take the router and router it all out. I mean, we're going to waste most of this piece of luan routering out the doors and everything, but that's just kind of the way it goes, you know? It's the way it's going to go today. So I am going to glue this with plenty of glue, if I can get this one open. So, let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Well, I thought I had all the glue in there. There we go. We're going to give it all the glue it needs to feel good about itself and hold on to this luan, because we're not really going to nail it in too heavy because this glue is going to do the trick. Get plenty on there. Plenty of glue, especially on these edges. And I think we're okay right there. I'm going to call that good. And I'm going to lay this on here, and it's going to have an overhang on 3 of the 4 sides. I'll probably hit this one straight on right here. It's going to be okay. We're over here by about 1 inch and about 2 inches under there. So we're okay. That's what that router was built for. So I'm going to give it, I'm going to put a little 1 inch 18 gauge brad nail in here, just to kind of keep it in place so it doesn't go bouncing around anywhere. Hit a couple over here on this side without hitting my finger. Good job to me. I'm going to hit a couple of here in the middle as well. I'm going to have to look on from this side though. Here we go. Woo! That was a close one. There we go. That's better. That's better. Maybe get a couple up here going across the top. And let's take a look in here. I think we're good. I'm going to get one right in here without my finger. Hold that one in, maybe one. Yeah, we gotta go one right here, I think. Yep. One more right here. Now what I'm gonna do, so I don't have to put a million nails in it, I'm gonna take these old weight plates. I'm just gonna set it on here. Make that luan just really stick to our frame that we built in there. So that's pushing down pretty good. Let me get one more on there. Whew. And it looks like underneath there we're in good shape. Now we're gonna let that dry overnight. Usually 30 minutes is enough. We're gonna let it go overnight because it's time to go in. And this will be perfect. And then we'll router it out and you'll see what we're gonna do. Day 2, we let that glue dry. Here's the back side. Just wanted you to kind of get a good look at that. I mean, I like to try to keep it as nice and neat and clean as I can on the back. And I think it just makes it that much nicer when you open that cabinet door and you can see what's going on. So let's get back to the business side here. So you could see, I took the weights and everything off and took a big drill, drilled a starter hole for my router. Remember, this is the kind of bit that we're using on the router. It's gonna, on that inside part, it's gonna rotate on that and on that 1x4 that I put in there. And then this part's gonna come along and it's gonna cut that luan real smooth. So let's go ahead and do that. Got a little bit here on the edges that the router has to stop where it has to stop. That's why that bump's in there, that little bearing. But I can fix that real quick. Well, what do you think? I think it looks sharp. Look at that. It's almost a shame to put amber shellac on it. But I hoped you guys tuned in on that Saturday Live and saw us do that. The only last step before Saturday night's shellacking is where I put these brad nails in. I'm going to put a little bit of wood putty in there, let it dry for a while, and then I'll sand everything. I'll sand it nice and smooth, get all of these imperfections out of it, and it'll be ready for shellac at that point. Then when we're done with the shellac, if we feel like it, we'll put, we can go ahead and put on our trim. But that's probably all I'm going to show you for right now. and thanks for watching.